All right, let's talk about something that could be quietly shaping your health right now without you even feeling it. It's called chronic inflammation, and understanding it is absolutely critical for our long-term health. So let's dive in.
Just think about this for a second. What if your body's own defense system, the one that's supposed to fight off threats and then power down, just got stuck in the on position, always running, always simmering in the background? Well, that's exactly what chronic inflammation is.
So you might be thinking, okay, but how big of a deal is this really? Well, get this. A huge 30-year study found that your level of inflammation is twice as important as your cholesterol level for predicting your long-term health. Let me say that again. Twice. That's a number we just can't ignore.
Okay, so before we can put this fire out, we've got to understand what's actually fueling it. And it's not what you might think. This is way more than just a swollen ankle. It's a deep, systemic thing happening inside all of us.
Now, it's super important to know that not all inflammation is bad, right? You've got the good fire. That's acute inflammation. You get a cut, your body sends in the troops, it gets red and hot, it heals, and then the fire goes out. The job is done. The problem is the bad fire, chronic inflammation. It's this low-level, constant simmering that never turns off, and over time, it just wears your body down. And this isn't some minor issue. The consequences of this constant simmering fire are, well, they're huge. It's a major risk factor for so many of the diseases we're most afraid of today. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even things like dementia and depression. It actually has a name, inflammaging, because it literally makes you age faster. I love how Professor Tim Spector explains this. He says, look, our bodies are amazing. We all develop tiny microcancers every single day, and it's our immune system's job to go on patrol, find them, and take them out. But when it's constantly distracted by this low-grade inflammatory noise, it can't do its most important job properly. So if this fire is so dangerous, where's the smoke detector? Where's the source? And the answer is probably not where you think it is. It's not your joints, it's not your heart, it's your gut. Get this, a whopping 70% of your entire immune system, it lives in your gut. 70%. That makes your gut the command and control center for your body's entire inflammatory response. Okay, so let's connect the dots here. It's actually a pretty simple chain reaction. The food you eat directly feeds the trillions of microbes living in your gut. Those microbes then send signals to your immune system, and your immune system is what controls your body's inflammation thermostat. So what you eat literally sets the dial for how much fire is in your body. All right, so here's the good news. If food can crank up the heat, it can also be the fire hose that puts it out. Let's get into the practical stuff. We're going to look at 7 powerful firefighter foods that you can start using today. Think of these next 7 foods as your personal anti-inflammatory toolkit. These are your fighter fighters. And what's great is that they're all pretty common foods that pack a serious punch. Let's break down why each one works. First up, good old broccoli. Its superpower comes from a compound called sulforaphane. But here's the catch. High heat can destroy it before you even get a chance to benefit. So you got to use the chop and stop method. Just chop it up and let it sit on the cutting board for about 10 minutes before you cook it. That simple step activates the compound and protects it from the heat. Next, extra virgin olive oil. Dr. Amity says it can have effects similar to ibuprofen. And you know that sharp, peppery kick you sometimes get at the back of your throat from a really good olive oil? Don't shy away from that. That is the sign of its power. That's the polyphenols, the good stuff doing their job. And yes, you are seeing that right. Chocolate is on the list. But, and this is a big but, we're not talking about a candy bar here. You've got to go for the dark stuff, over 70% cacao. And check the label. You want to see just a few ingredients: cocoa mass, cocoa butter, maybe a little sugar. That's it. Chia seeds are just incredible little things, packed with fiber, healthy fats, and protein. And one of the easiest, most delicious ways to get them in your diet is this overnight pudding. Just follow these simple steps, pop it in the fridge, and you'll have an amazing, creamy, inflammation-fighting breakfast waiting for you. Okay, turmeric. It gets a ton of buzz, and for good reason. The active ingredient curcumin is a beast when it comes to fighting inflammation. But here's the thing you absolutely have to know. Curcumin is a bit of a diva. It doesn't like to work alone. For your body to actually absorb it, you need to combine it with black pepper and a healthy fat. Number 6, raspberries. These little guys are just loaded with fiber and those awesome colorful polyphenols. And let me give you a pro tip here. Go for frozen. Seriously, it's often cheaper, the nutrients are locked in right at the peak of freshness, and you don't have to worry about them going bad in a day or two.
And our final firefighter, red cabbage kraut. This is a perfect example of a fermented food. And this is where things get really exciting. A major study out of Stanford found that when people added just a few servings of fermented foods to their diet each day, foods like kraut or yogurt or kimchi, they saw a dramatic drop in their inflammatory markers in just 2 weeks. That is incredibly fast. Okay, so those 7 foods are amazing, right? But this isn't about just eating broccoli and kale every once in a while. The real goal here is to build a system that's resilient for the long haul. It's about a strategy, not a quick fix. So let's break this down into a manageable plan. What can you do right now, tonight? Prioritize getting a good night's sleep. Just that one thing lowers inflammation. Over a week, your mission is to reduce or cut out the biggest fire starters, ultra-processed foods. For the month, try a fun challenge. Aim to eat 30 different types of plants to feed all your good gut bugs. And over a year, it's all about making these small things into habits that stick. And that brings me to maybe the most important point of this entire conversation. This is not about being perfect. You don't have to be perfect to win this fight. It really all comes down to the classic 80-20 rule. If you can focus on eating these gut-healthy, anti-inflammatory foods 80% of the time, your body becomes strong and resilient enough to handle the other 20%. That's the birthday cake, the pizza with friends, the stuff that makes life, well, life. So I want you to reframe this in your mind. This isn't about restriction or what you can't have. It's about giving your body an actual superpower, the power of resilience. It means you can navigate all of life's imperfections without constantly setting off that internal fire alarm. So there you have it. You've met the firefighters, you know where the fire's coming from. The only question left is, what are you going to do about it today? What's your first small step going to be? Maybe it's just chopping up some broccoli for dinner or deciding to get to bed an hour earlier. The power really is in your hands.
Click the subscribe button to stay updated with VitalSpan Labs.